In the heart of Africa's giant, a silent war is raging, not against a foreign invader, but against the very soul of its people. While you sleep, an entire village in the Middle Belt is being wiped off the map, yet the headlines in the capital speak only of 2027. Is a Nigerian life worth less than a ballot paper? Today, we peel back the curtain on a nation where terrorism flourishes while its leaders dance for tomorrow's votes. Across the vast stretches of the Northwest, the dust of the savannah is mixed with the tears of mothers. Bandits have moved from the shadows into the light, governing territories that the state has seemingly abandoned. In these scorched landscapes, the sound of gunfire has replaced the school bell. As the security architecture crumbles like ancient clay, the citizens are left to wonder if the government they elected even remembers the sacred oath taken on Inauguration Day. But while the hinterlands bleed, a different kind of energy pulsates through the corridors of power in Abuja and Lagos. The air is thick, not with the smell of gunpowder, but with the scent of ambition and expensive cologne. Strategists are already huddled in darkened rooms, plotting maps for an election that is still years away. It is a grotesque spectacle of misplaced priorities, where the pursuit of power outpaces the urgent duty to protect human life. The irony is as sharp as a blade. Nigerians are told to be patient, to endure the biting hunger and the constant fear of kidnapping, while their representatives are already measuring the curtains for their next offices. The social contract is not just broken, it has been set ablaze. In this climate of neglect, the terrorist groups find fertile ground. They see a state distracted by its own vanity and they strike with a terrifying, unchecked precision. Kidnapping has become Nigeria's most lucrative industry, a dark economy that thrives where governance fails. From the highways of Kaduna to the suburbs of the Federal Capital Territory, no one is truly safe. Families are forced to sell their ancestral lands and beg on social media to pay ransoms that go straight into the pockets of criminals. This is the reality of the ordinary Nigerian, a reality that seems invisible to the men chasing the 2027 presidency. Daniel Nduka Okonkwo's observations ring with a painful truth: the joke is indeed on Nigerians. We are the audience in a theater of the absurd, watching a play where the actors ignore the fire burning down the stage. The political class operates in a bubble of security, protected by motorcades and high walls, while the taxpayer is left to negotiate his own survival with a gunman in the middle of a lonely forest road. Why is the 2027 election already the primary focus? In any functional democracy, the first half of a term is dedicated to delivering on campaign promises. Yet, in Nigeria, the campaign never truly ends. Governance is treated as a temporary distraction from the real business of staying in power. This perpetual campaign mode ensures that long-term security solutions are ignored in favor of short-term political alliances that do nothing to stop the flow of blood in rural communities. The statistics are staggering, yet they have become mere background noise to the political elite. Thousands displaced, thousands killed, and millions more living in the shadow of trauma. When a leader prioritizes 2027 over the security of 2024, they are sending a clear message: the future of their career is more important than the survival of the people they serve. This disconnect is the primary reason why terrorism continues to flourish despite billions spent on defense. Think about the farmer in Benue who can no longer till his soil because the forests are crawling with insurgents. His absence from the field means higher food prices in Lagos and Port Harcourt. Insecurity is not just a localized problem, it is an economic cancer eating away at the nation's foundations. Yet, instead of addressing the food security crisis, the political conversation is dominated by who will be the running mate for a future ticket. The sophisticated weapons used by these terrorists didn't appear out of thin air. They are the result of porous borders and a lack of political will to track the financiers of terror. While the intelligence agencies should be hunting those who fund this chaos, they are often diverted to monitor political rivals. It is a system designed to protect the throne, not the people. The flourish of terrorism is the direct result of this massive vacuum in leadership. We must ask, who benefits from this instability? When a population is traumatized and hungry, they are easier to manipulate with small handouts during election season. The cycle of poverty and insecurity serves as a tool for political control. By keeping the masses in a state of constant survival, the elite ensure that no one has the energy to demand real accountability. This is the dark logic behind the focus on 2027 amid a national collapse. The joke mentioned by Okonkwo is a bitter one. It is the laughter of those who know they can fail the people and still return to power through tribalism and religious division. They play the 2027 game because they believe the Nigerian memory is short. They bank on the fact that by the time the next election rolls around, the cries of the kidnapped will be drowned out by the drums of the campaign rallies and empty promises. Security is the primary duty of any government. Without it, there is no education, no health, and no economy. When terrorists are allowed to collect taxes from villages while the official government watches from a distance, the sovereignty of the nation is in ruins. This isn't just a failure of policy, it is a total collapse of the state's moral authority. The flourishing of terror is a loud indictment of every leader currently eyeing a 2027 seat. In the Middle Belt, the fertile lands are becoming mass graveyards. The conflict over land and resources has been allowed to fester, often fueled by political rhetoric that pits neighbors against each other. Instead of honest mediation and justice, we see a revolving door of committees and press releases that lead nowhere. The real work of peacebuilding is sidelined because it doesn't yield the same immediate political capital as an election campaign trail does. The youth of Nigeria, the largest demographic, are the ones bearing the brunt of this negligence. They see their future being mortgaged by men who were in power before they were even born. They watch as the 2027 machines start to hum, knowing that their safety and employment are not even on the agenda. The brain drain, known as JOPA, is the ultimate response to a leadership that chooses political survival over national security and growth. Terrorism in Nigeria has evolved into a sophisticated network that mimics the state itself. They have communication hubs, logistics chains, and an intelligence network that sometimes rivals the official one. How can a ragtag group of bandits outmaneuver a national army? The answer lies in the lack of consistent political backing for the troops on the front lines. When the commander's eyes are on the political winds in Abuja, the soldiers in the bush are forgotten. While leaders chase 2027, the international community watches with growing concern. Foreign investment flees where there is no security, and Nigeria's influence on the global stage shrinks with every attack. We are becoming a cautionary tale of what happens when a country's elite loses touch with the basic needs of its populace. The joke isn't just on Nigerians, it's a tragedy being watched by the whole world, as a potential superpower stumbles in the dark. The media's role cannot be ignored. Often, the oxygen of publicity is given to political bickering rather than the plight of the displaced. By focusing on the 2027 horse race, the press inadvertently helps the political class ignore the security ruins. We must shift the narrative. Every time a politician talks about the next election, they should be asked about the latest kidnapping. Every campaign speech should be interrupted by the reality of the people suffering. Governance is not a part-time job, yet in Nigeria, it is treated as a secondary activity to politics. The structures meant to protect the people, the police, the judiciary, the civil service, are all being starved of resources and attention while the political machinery is well-oiled and funded. This imbalance is why the ruins of our security continue to smolder. The flourishing of terror is the shadow cast by the bright lights of our politicians' ambitions. We are told that the renewed hope is coming, but for the families of those currently in captivity, hope is a luxury they cannot afford. They don't care about who will be the governor of a state in 3 years, they care about whether their children will return home tonight. The disconnect is total. It is as if the leaders and the people are living in two different Nigerias, separated by an impenetrable wall of indifference and greed. The joke is on us because we allow the cycle to repeat. Every 4 years, we are promised a new dawn, and every 4 years, the darkness of insecurity grows deeper. If we do not demand that the 2027 talk stops and the work of security begins now, we are complicit in our own downfall. The flourishing of terrorists is a symptom of a much deeper disease, the complete lack of accountability in our political system. True leadership is about sacrifice, not about securing the next term. It is about standing in the gap for the vulnerable, even when it is not politically convenient. Nigeria needs leaders who are more afraid of losing a citizen's life than losing an election. Until the political class realizes that their legacy will be written in the blood of the innocent they failed to protect, the 2027 chase will remain a dance on the graves of the fallen. The ruins of our security are not just physical, they are spiritual and psychological. We are a nation losing its sense of safety and community. But the resilience of the Nigerian spirit is legendary. Despite the abandonment by their leaders, people are forming local watches and supporting each other. Imagine what this nation could achieve if that same grassroots energy was reflected in the highest offices of the land, focused on today instead of 2027. Nigeria stands at a crossroads where the path of politics and the path of survival diverge. If the focus remains on the 2027 ballot while the land is soaked in the blood of the innocent, there may be no nation left to govern. The joke is on us, but the laughter is hollow. It is time to demand that those in power stop chasing shadows of the future and face the burning reality of the present.